That day, I was just planning to clean up the kitchen after a simple dinner. He was washing the dishes, and I was wiping down the counter. The doorbell rang, insistent, but harmless. A plain brown cardboard box sat neatly on the front porch, labeled Happy Birthday, as if trying to hide something inside. He picked it up, curious, but casual. "Oh, your parents sent this for me," he said, tearing off the tape. Inside was a luxurious black envelope with silver trim stamped with the name of a famous weight loss spa. I glanced over and my heart stopped. $3,800. Not for us, but for me. I felt the blood rush to my face, not out of embarrassment, but because I recognized the hidden message: your wife needs to lose weight, and here's how to help. At the same time, I knew this wasn't just a gift, it was a trap. "Don't touch it," I said, my voice dropping low. He froze, looking at me like I'd just said the most ridiculous thing in the world. "Why?" he asked. I took a deep breath, because it's not a gift. It's a trap. I carefully picked up the envelope by the edges, avoiding letting my skin touch that cold paper. Ever since I was a kid, I'd heard every kind of mockery about my body from the very people who shared my last name. And here it was again, them finding a way to turn me into a joke. The difference this time was that I could smell a bigger scheme lurking under that shiny silver foil. I didn't know the full story yet, but I was sure of one thing: this gift wasn't just meant to insult me. It was aimed at taking down the organization we'd poured our blood, sweat, and tears into building. Before I tell you how everything exploded from this one voucher, hit that subscribe button and comment below to let me know where you're listening from, because this story will make you wonder. How would you react if your own family turned your pain into a weapon? I grew up in a house where mirrors were never my friend. Not because I hated them, but because every time I looked, I'd hear my mum's voice echoing, "You should eat less, or no one will ever notice you." Dad would just give a faint smile, but his eyes would scan my body like he was appraising inventory. My brother was even crueler. The fat pig in a skirt. That was the nickname he stuck me with all through high school. I'd tried every diet they shoved at me, starving myself, drinking spicy lemon water, even swallowing cheap weight loss pills bought online. The only result was that I hated myself. Hated it so much I'd avoid crowds, avoid even strangers' glances. Then I met him. Not at a gym, not at some change your life seminar, but at a small talk in the local library. He was on stage talking about something I'd never heard before: body positivity. Not the empty platitudes like "love yourself," but the way he looked straight at each person and said their body didn't need permission to exist. I started volunteering on weekends. At first, it was making coffee and stacking chairs. Then he put me in charge of the budget, organizing events. Bit by bit, I started believing my worth wasn't tied to a number on the scale. 3 years later, we got married. Our organization grew. We opened 2 more locations, got community support, a few big donors. Then my parents suggested they wanted to join. "We're nearing retirement and want to do something meaningful," they said. I agreed, giving them light admin tasks. But within weeks, I heard the staff whispering. Mum was commenting on participants' appearances. Dad would smirk when a volunteer shared their story of weight gain from illness. I thought I could control it, set boundaries. But deep down, I knew once they stepped in, sooner or later, their disdain and scheming would bubble to the surface. And I was right. 6 months ago, my brother suddenly announced he'd gone independent. No more crashing with mum and dad, no more free dinners every night. He bragged about buying a brand new apartment, all shiny and furnished, thanks to his weight loss business that was booming. I didn't ask much because whenever I pressed, he'd just sneer, "You wouldn't get it. Only people with the right look know how to make money from it." Around the same time, Dad walked into the office with a thick file folder, his face beaming like he'd just closed $1 million deal. He slapped it down on my desk. "I found a new supplier for the program. Cheaper prices, faster results, and more professional looking," he said, emphasizing each word like he was reading an ad. I flipped through the contract pages. The company logo was a slim silhouette, standing on a scale, arms raised in victory. At the bottom was a list of products: detox teas, weight loss pills, 21-day body transformation coaching packages. It all sounded reasonable, until I noticed there were no medical certifications attached. Dad brushed it off. "People have used it and raved about it. Your mum tried it too, lost 4 pounds." Mum sat beside him, smiling triumphantly like that was undeniable proof. My husband asked a few questions about the product sources, and the only answer we got was, "They're secretive because of the proprietary formula." We signed the contract. The first 3 months were quiet. Then the messages started coming in. A woman cried on the phone because after using the products, her hair was falling out in clumps. A 17-year-old boy did lose weight, but it came with chronic insomnia and severe anxiety. The stories piled up, and the worst part, many said they felt worse about their bodies after the treatment, forced to take before and after photos for marketing. I looked at my husband, and we both knew we'd let a monster in that would be hard to cage. But there was still one unanswered question. Why had my parents risked this much? My husband started with the invoices. He compared import prices to market rates, called independent labs, to test product samples. The results left us both stunned. Cheap ingredients, some even banned in weight loss treatments, because they caused heart rhythm disorders. And then the organization's bank statements revealed another truth. A consulting fee skimmed off, right after each payment to the supplier, wired to an account in Dad's name. I brought everything to the meeting with my parents the next morning. My husband set the stack of documents on the table. His voice low and cold. "We have to terminate this contract immediately." Dad frowned. "You don't understand. This is a great opportunity. The products are selling like hotcakes. People need them." "Need them?" I laughed, but my voice shook. "People are losing hair, can't sleep, feeling more insecure than ever. Is that what you call help?" Mum crossed her arms, shooting me a look from above. "You've been fat your whole life. You wouldn't understand what successful weight loss feels like. You don't have the right to judge." That hit like a slap to the face. I looked at my husband and saw his jaw tighten. "Her right," he said, "is to protect the people who trust this organization. What's yours? Taking money behind your own daughter's back." Dad jumped up. "We were just helping your brother get his business off the ground. He needed capital, and this was the quickest way. Nobody did anything illegal." I leaned forward, each word slicing out of my mouth. "What about that weight loss spa voucher, $3,800 sent to my husband? How do you explain that? They went silent. Mum rolled her eyes. Dad stared at the table. Not a single denial. And in that moment, I knew all their excuses were just a cover for one simple thing: they were willing to sacrifice me and this whole organization as long as my brother benefited. My husband and I didn't waste another day making the decision. 2 termination letters were printed, signed, and sealed in envelopes. When we handed them to my parents in the staff break room, they looked at each other like they'd been betrayed to their core. "You're firing your own family," Mum gasped. "No," I replied. "We're protecting the people who believe in this organization." Less than 24 hours later, my brother showed up at our door, face flushed, red eyes blazing. "You've just signed a death sentence for the whole family," he snarled. "The people who put up the money won't let this slide." I crossed my arms, blocking the doorway. If that money came from scamming people and ruining their health, then they deserve the truth. He gave a bitter laugh, but in it was a chilling threat. 3 days later, the first blow landed. On a local Facebook group, someone posted a photo of me at 17, messy hair, acne-covered face, my heavier body in an oversized dress. The caption: "Head of a body positivity organization, this is her role model." Hashtags like fake confidence and hashtag body shame queen started popping up. Next came accusations that I was fake, that I was exploiting the body love movement for money, and still hated myself. An anonymous account posted, "If they're really helping others, why does her husband drive a luxury car with a photo of our old Beta shot at an angle to make it look expensive?" 2 donors announced they were pausing partnerships. A fundraising event got cancelled. Then the extortion email arrived. "Reinstate the contract and our positions, or this attack wave will never stop." I read it over and over, not to confirm, but to etch in one thing: they'd gone from shaming me to wanting to destroy everything I'd built. The next morning, my husband and I walked into the police station with a file so thick it needed extra rubber bands to hold it together. Inside was everything: bank statements showing the kickbacks, product test reports, screenshots of the body-shaming posts, even the extortion email. The officer taking our statement flipped through the pages without flinching once. When I paused to explain, she just said, "You did the right thing bringing all this here. We've seen this kind more than you think." I wasn't sure if that should make me feel reassured or worried. We went home in silence. Silence, but not the enduring kind anymore. It was the silence before launching a counterattack. 6 months later, it blew up. The local paper ran a big headline: "Family exploits body positivity organization for profit reported by their own daughter." Radio stations and regional magazines raced to dissect the story. Every piece mentioned how they used body shaming to silence and retaliate. The trial was swift. My parents got 18 months in prison for fraud and harassment. My brother got probation, 200 hours of community service, ironically at a counseling center for body-shaming victims. His apartment was seized, and that weight loss company crumbled. As for us, fully exonerated. The Charity Oversight Agency released a report declaring the organization clean. Donors came back. Old volunteers returned, bringing new ones. Our community room was full of laughter and recovery stories. I used to think exposing my family would leave a wound that never healed. I'd prepared for sleepless nights, guilt gnawing at my mind. But the truth is the opposite. I sleep better than ever. No more echoes from the past saying I'm not good enough or need to change to be loved. Every morning walking into the center, I see new faces, new stories, people who've been drowned out by taunts and judgmental stares. I watch them sit together, sharing that they deserve to exist just as they are. And I realize what I've reclaimed isn't just my reputation, but my freedom. The mirror in my room isn't an enemy anymore. It just reflects the woman I've become, one who won't let anyone define her value by a number on the scale or whispers behind her back. I don't regret it. Not for cutting ties with blood, not for standing up to the dirty attacks, because sometimes to save yourself and what you believe in, you have to let a chapter close. So I ask you, did it go too far or not far enough? If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Share your experiences in the comments. I want to read your stories, and let's build a community together where no one gets torn down for their appearance. And if you want more empowering revenge tales, click on the next video right over there.